think the first thing they need to know is that fundamentally it's not such a challenging thing to do. We know how to capture CO2, we know how to put in pipelines, we know how to inject it underground, we know how to monitor. We have models that are reasonably good at predicting where it goes. So the individual components are basically there today. The challenges are in the integration, number one. Number two, in terms of the cost of capture and the energy requirements for the capture itself. And three, I think, in terms of public acceptance, that this should be part of the portfolio of options. If I was talking 6 months ago, I said, well, we need regulations as well, but it's actually quite astonishing that there is a whole new set of rules to enable injecting carbon dioxide underground for storage purposes. Number one, I think we need some large-scale projects to go ahead, large-scale integrated capture and storage projects. So we need to have that, coal-fired power plant with capture, with transport, with sequestration, so that the utility operators get comfortable with the technology. We can start getting cost and performance data, so that we can have experience with very large-scale, particularly onshore geologic storage of CO2. So, and right now there's a lot of activity going on, but many of these projects are sort of funded at a suboptimal level, and it puts them at risk. So I think we need to, maybe reduce the number of projects, fully fund them between industry and government partnerships, and go ahead with those and really stick to it. Make sure, keep the schedule, just, plow ahead. So I think that's very important. So then in terms of the R&D side, the cost and energy penalty, and actually for me it's really the energy penalty is the big issue on capture. To me, if we have to, increase the cost of electricity by 50%, I still think that could be competitive with renewables when you really add in the issues associated with firming the variable power that's available from those. So at the end of the day, I think cost is an issue, but people make it out to be a way bigger issue, I think, than it really is. So I think it's the energy. It's wasteful. If you're using 30% of the energy from your natural gas or coal to capture that CO2, we've got to do better than that. So really, technologies that can push towards an energy penalty on the order of 10%, I think, are very, very important. In the area of storage, again, multi-phase, the core science behind storage is multi-phase flow of fluids in porous media. That's a subject that is in some ways sort of as old as history. It's agriculture. Agriculture is all about multi-phase flow of it's basically air and water and soil. So we know a lot about that. The whole oil and gas industry is built around multi-phase flow of CO2 and of oil and water in particular, or gas and water. So we know, so the foundations are there. Really what we need to focus on is what's unique about the CO2 water system. And in particular, what are those sort of unforeseen vulnerabilities that might be created by that combination of fluids? So I think that, uniquely focusing on the things that make CO2 different than natural gas in terms of its chemistry, I think those things are important. I think monitoring technologies that are that you could deploy, 24/7, inexpensive 24/7 monitoring would go a huge way towards dealing with issues of public acceptance and just making the operator's job easier. So a really interesting story. I was just with the folks who run the Schleifner project, and every 5 years it was sort of the plan to do seismic surveys to figure out where the plume is, and it works great, but they cost a lot of money. So and the question was, will the project operators say, well, we don't want to pay for it, we want to do it every 10 years, because that site is, clearly very, very safe site. It's just the opposite, though. They're saying they want more data more frequently. They want data every 2 years. or potentially even less, because it's interesting, because it enables them to have even greater confidence. So I think people would love, inexpensive 24/7 monitoring of these projects. So that's another area. So that would be my short list. So I'm personally frustrated because I work on a technology, my research lab, CCS, which if we were really serious about dealing with the climate issue, we could really be deploying this today.